All right, segment number 2, which we were going to talk about last week but didn't get a chance to, and now we've done it twice since then, so there will be another segment on this. Dungeons and Dragons. I'll turn it over to our DM for this one.
We'll be doing a segment each week that we actually play the game. We'll probably not play every week. Most weeks, though, I think. And we've done 2 already, so yeah, the last segment of this will be D&D as well. I think we'd just talk a bit about what happened. I'm having trouble remembering what happened in the first segment, though.
We actually fought things.
Yeah. I mean, not every session has to have fighting.
I know.
It's a role-playing game. But we'll talk about the second session
when we get to it, yeah.
Okay. So, I started all of my players in a dungeon. Basically, this guy and another guy, they get dragged out, attached to this, like, metal contraption thing where they're, like, unable to move. They get dragged out by a couple guards, and the last 4 of them are, like, left on their own to try to figure out a way out.
Chained to a wall.
They are chained to a wall. With a chain and things around the hands. And, yeah.
Sitting on the floor. We had to specify this a few times because some of the characters were short and they were actually just standing.
Yeah. Yeah, we got 2 gnomes. They stood.
Everybody else sat on their asses.
So, what happened there?
Well, they finally figured out a way to get out and spent 4 fucking ever trying to search through the hallways to do things.
Yeah, they were very paranoid about traps. There was only one trap, and it was the main one that they had to figure out.
But they snuck along everywhere, inching across, looking for traps. Because one of them, the thief, of course, made the mistake of not actually looking for any traps when he first went for the door that was trapped, and nearly took a blade in the face.
Yep.
So suddenly everybody's like, oh shit, traps! Look, right? You know, fucking trying to figure out where the fuck traps were. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there waiting for my shit to come up, like...
That was a total mistake on my part. I shouldn't have done that.
Splitting the party up that early is never a good thing, but
yeah.
At the same time, it would have been okay if they made it through quick enough.
And it did give Nathan time to, like, watch and see how the thing worked. He's never played before, and he has no idea how it all works. So he got to watch how the game works.
So that we didn't get things like, I imagine we all make it home safely. So good.
That's great.
So good. But, yeah. So, finally, when we get to the, where I got dragged off to, it's a coliseum. Underground coliseum. No light, no natural light anywhere. It's all magical, artificial light going on. And there's, booming voices, round 1, fight. Right? Or whatever, as some swords get tossed to our fucking feet, as me and Nathan's character are like, why? I mean, my guy's a monk, so he's, naturally, like, hand-to-hand anyways. He doesn't fucking use swords. But at the same time, he really only picks fights when he knows he needs to. So, gets a sword tossed at his feet and is like, kill that guy! And it's, why? Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like something I'd want to do. So... fucking everybody else finally busts in after they've spent like a fucking hour searching through every nook and cranny of the fucking place they were, the dungeon, trying to get to where we were, when really they had the means like 5 minutes in and didn't go for it. They just kept looking through different chambers hoping to trip you up and find something good.
They took so long getting through like one section. The last part was like, okay, we go there, because I just drew the rest of the map because it was taking way too fucking long. And, yeah. Well, I'll describe a bit of the dungeon, too. Dungeon, lots of hallways, they're all very, everything was very shiny. It's like, you wouldn't expect cobblestone to be so clean. Whoever is in charge of those tunnels is polishing every day. And,
I polish every day.
Me too. They... come across a kitchen and storeroom kind of area, I guess, what do you call it with a bunch of people, bedroom, well, like one big bedroom kind of thing, whatever it's called. One of those things, lots of beds.
Barracks?
I guess, but that's specifically like army.
Yeah.
Living quarters.
Yeah, whatever.
Quarters.
Yeah.
And then another one with a locked door they had to get into. They found a altar covered in blood and a picture behind the altar of, I lost the word for them, but it's the you know when you're looking at a map and you have the pointy things that like measure like distance. I forget what they're called, but they're like razor sharp ones of those. They're a symbol for the god Domex or something like that. Tomex? I don't know. Kamek.
Damn it, comic.
Yeah, and they find a strange piece of paper in there on a desk with some strange writing on it. That's nothing yet. Nothing's come of that.
That's not true. Something has come of it already. They've started using it to translate how to write things on sleeping people's heads.
That's right.
Sorry, Zach. We're not apologizing.
Yeah, so then after that, they also... Oh, probably the high point was them around a corner and Shayna failing at a move silently check as she goes to listen around the corner and makes a bunch of noise, and a guard comes out like, "Oi, who's there?" And Ben is like, "Oh shit." I jump up, bounce off of Zach, and hide up in the corner near the ceiling because he's a
tiny gnome thief.
Yeah, tiny gnome thief. Yeah, and he pretty much gets it perfect, and he hides up there. And then as the guard comes out, he drops and goes to get him in a chokehold.
To incapacitate.
Yeah, and the guard gets a critical failure and dies.
He basically, like, simultaneously breaks the guard's neck and smashes his head into the fucking cobblestone.
Well, the guard failed. He didn't get a critical 20.
Well, I know.
The guard failed, so the guard, like, had a shock heart attack or something like that. That was my thing. He just had a heart attack because he was so scared. But, yeah. So once they got that, they got the key, got through the trap, and then got to these guys.
I tossed Zach a sword immediately, like, hey, I remember that guy, because our characters had met previously. I had no idea who the rest of these jokers were. Mm-hmm. So I threw him a sword, and I'm like, hey, Tenply, because that's what I call him. His name is Hardax, so as an inversion of that, I call him Tenply, because that's super fucking soft. Still not apologizing, Zach. And I toss him the sword. We fight our way through a couple of monsters, like a giant silver toad and a giant silver beaver.
Yeah, he pummels the beaver into a pulp using Zach.
Yeah, I dealt the finishing blow to said beaver by grabbing Zach and hitting the beaver with Zach.
The beaver had 1 HP left, and you got like 20 on him.
I did 20 damage with Zach. It's fucking great. I, of course, started off the fight in my usual style, where I performed the Rising Mighty Kick. Google it. You'll find it. Requires a few rolls to get correct, but I usually tend to nail it because most of the skills that are required I put a shit ton of stuff into. It's only bad if I fail the attack roll.
Yeah.
But I never do add my pluses to the attack roll, so I should probably start doing that now that I know they're there.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize, I've been playing D&D for about a year now, DMing. Never realized that the strength bonus goes into both your attack and your damage. It says it right there. One small spot in the player's handbook.
In 3.5.
Yeah,
specify
3.5,
this is in 3.5 that we're playing. Because it's honestly the last version that I actually played and fairly easily accessible.
Yeah.
I hear good things about 5e, but I still haven't played them. I heard 4e was fucking terrible, though.
Yeah.
So
4e, I watched some videos actually about why 4e is not as good. And it's not that it's incredibly different or anything. It's D&D. Through and through, it's D&D. There's just changes to the combat system to make combat more streamlined and very video gamey. And that's what role players are not enjoying about it.
Got it.
They would rather go play a video game.
Yeah.
So that's basically what it is. Otherwise, it's just D&D. So.
Yeah, so we got through the fight. The dude who was running this underground fight club left in a blaze of flame and magic. So we're going to have to go track him down eventually. We find our way out after preventing the smallest gnome in our party from murdering someone.
You were found by River Zandarin, sexy redhead bard. Yeah. She let you out.
Yeah.
And fucking whatever crazy gnome hates orcs and chopped the leg off of an orc trying to escape. That was the thing that happened.
Yeah, it was. I was already out of there, so I couldn't stop her.
Yeah.
But next time, if it happens, I'm just going to pick her up and walk away. Because she's like 2 feet tall. So
Yep.
it shouldn't be too hard. I can pick up Fortress Maximus pretty easily. He's about 2 feet tall. It's a little bit under, but you know.
Wow, she's like the size of Fortress Maximus.
Well, she's a bit bigger. She's
Yeah,
actually
she's
like
2'7".
2'7".
Yeah.
Fortress Maximus is just under 2.
Yeah.
I think he's like an inch or 2 shorter.
Right. Anyways.
Yeah. That's the toy, of course, not the actual robot that the toy is supposed to represent, because in fiction he is a city, so he's fucking huge. Anyway, we get out. We realize that we're behind the actual Colosseum once we hit the ground in a town.
City, actually. It's a full city.
Right, full city. Because I'm playing a character that I had played previously in this same world, I'm having sort of like altered time flashbacks to things that had happened previously that I had experienced but not actually experienced, because I'm back to level 1 and back in this world, but not the same way I was before. Like alternate universe encroaching on the current universe.
Universes colliding.
So I have a memory about that Colosseum, which I'll not get into at present because, well, you know, it's not important. But it was, let's just say it was good times. And we go meet up with a dude named Bobbert.
Apparently his name was Bobbert, yeah. I was like, I don't know what this guy's name is. Someone said Bobbert. Cool. Bob.
Bobbert was the name of my Moltres back in the day.
Anyways, I had them write up backstories, and they were rewarded with gold for how long the backstories were. Each 5-sentence paragraph got them 100 gold, up to 1,000 gold. And yeah, so they stumbled upon a bunch of gold. And then they went shopping, and that was the end of the session. Yeah. So, hopefully sessions get a bit more exciting than that. The next one will not be. It'll probably be very complainy. But we'll see you in segment 5.
Yeah.